Hi everyone, we're here backstage doing interviews for the Metals Investor Forum January edition. I have Galen McNamara, who is CEO of Summa Silver. Galen, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Peter. Great to be back. It's been a great conference here so far. So
excellent.
Thank you.
So not at all. We're happy to have you participate. So you gave your presentation just a little while ago, and as I was saying, your company is fortunate to have what I consider two flagship assets. Hughes in Nevada, Mogollon in New Mexico. You've actually wrapped up drilling with new discoveries at Hughes. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that, how that evolved and where we are today.
Yeah, you know what? We had a very busy last year on both of our projects, but specifically focusing in on Hughes in Nevada. I mean, this was the second largest historic silver producer in Nevada. The queen of the silver camps was what it was called 100 years ago. And we saw some great potential to really step out on a kilometer scale, try to extend the district, take that swing and look for that next 100 million ounces. Drilled 6 holes this past summer, in a lot of them in brand new exploration targets, wildcatting really, and discoveries of 3 new veins up to 4.7 kilometers east of the old mining district, a long strike, with a lot of room to run in between there. The highlight being 3 meters of 1,450 grams per ton silver equivalent. So the first hole into a new vein, that's that. I think that really gets our geologists excited, and they're really chomping at the bit to get back there and continue to drill those out. And to be honest with you, I only wish I had been aggressive like this earlier. Right. But sure. Hindsight is 20/20.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got to choosing where you were going to drill. What was sort of the background and sort of the the process that made you choose those targets and that were thankfully successful? Yeah,
well, it comes down to our approach, to the discovery process. It's very, very modern focused in a way that we try to use the most cutting edge technologies, but also the most cutting edge ideas. And it's based on a decision process that is probably split between half a dozen really exploration potentials geologists that have a lot of experience working in these types of systems, have had a lot of success in other places. So really, you can take that experience that you have in other places and everything that you've learned, all the wins you've had and the losses that you've had, just like anything in life.
Right.
And apply it to discoveries. So, we see anytime you go into these historic mining districts that in their day were prolific, not something that was just some, hole in the wall somewhere, right? Sure. That were prolific and haven't seen modern exploration, I can pretty much guarantee you that there's going to be really good targets there to drill. So we're finding that out. We're proving that out as quickly as we can.
So how far have you managed to extend Hughes now at this point?
Yeah, we have hits over 1,000 grams per ton silver equivalent along a trend of 6.5 kilometers.
Wow.
And a lot of space not drilled around those holes.
So that speaks to a huge potential.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really, I think, a good point to put it into perspective, where Tonopah produced over a strike length of 4 kilometers and 175 million ounces. We're stepping out 4 kilometers east of the district with the first holes and hitting.
Exactly. That's really quite impressive. So is there any more sort of detail you want to bring us on Hughes, or do you want to kind of switch gears and we can move on to the New Mexico asset?
Yeah, I think let's do that. Let's move on to the New Mexico asset.
So that's called Mogollon. Mm-hmm. That's a former producing vein type area.
Yeah.
And it was the largest silver mine in New Mexico. Correct. So, I'll let you fill us in. Obviously, Sure. It's your baby. You're the expert, and maybe tell us a little bit about the history, where you've brought it to, and sort of the most recent work, and you've started a drill program there recently.
Yeah, well. That's great. So let's start at the history, because it's a quintessentially American mining story, in that this place was discovered in the 1880s by a sergeant in the U.S. Cavalry. He kept it secret until he mustered out a couple years later, and then went back to the place with his brother, started a little mining district. Were very successful, but this was the time when the American government were still fighting the Apache tribes.
Okay.
And they were very hostile.
Wow.
So The Apaches got him. They killed him.
Wow.
And they're very well known people. One of the chiefs that was there, that was leading this raid, was Victorio. There's reports that Geronimo was there as well. Anyways, they got him. They buried him in a rock tomb, which is just off of our mining claims that you can go and see today. A hollowed out big boulder of granite. He's inside there.
Is that right?
They sealed it up with ore from his mine that you can see in this door. But what the Apaches were doing then is they were riding to the little community just downstream from there, a couple miles away, and they were going to attack it. But because the discoverer of this place went and warned them first, they were ready, and there was actually quite a big fight there over I think 24 hours. So it's kind of one of these places that helped shape really the early history of the American West.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you now have Mogollon, named after a former governor.
Yeah.
And it has huge potential as well. Tell us about where you've brought it to so far, and some of the more recent work.
Yeah. Great. So we started off on a vein length of about 500 meters. We drilled 19 holes over the last couple seasons. Highlight holes being 31 meters of 450 grams per ton silver equivalent on one side of where we drilled. On the other side, you get up to 10 meters of 600 grams per ton silver equivalent. That's 500 meters, but there's 75 plus kilometers of vein on the project. So what we're doing this year, and the drill is turning now, is we're testing over a length of 2 kilometers on the main structure on the project with very precise holes that we really think are high potential based on all of our modern compilation and geological understanding.
So that's what I was going to ask, Nick.
Yeah.
Again, these are chosen with a lot of science behind it.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct, exactly. With a lot where we're looking for multiple features that we think are really going to lead us to fast-tracking discovery. 3D models of all the underground veins and where different faults intersect with each other, and we want to drill under where we know there's mineralization, where we know there's already good high-grade mineralization. So maybe we'll drill under an old mine that is very, very shallow, but there's no reason to think that it doesn't continue deeper. Exactly. So it's targets like that. We were going to drill over 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 3 separate targets. Probably now it'll just be 2 because I'm liking what I'm seeing on one. So it's hard to pull a rig off when you like what you see.
Exactly. So the program has just gotten started. Is that right? At Mogollon? The drill program, and how many meters are you going to do?
Yeah, so we started in November, and it'll run probably till the end of February.
Okay.
And like I was saying, a precise approach to showing potential. So it's 2,500 meters, but say between 2,000 and 2,500 meters in 3 or 4 holes, where we're looking for that step change where I can come back to you and the next time we're here and say, hey, look, now there's mineralization over X amount of kilometers.
Exactly.
Right, where we know it's over 500 meters already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. So what kind of timeline makes sense eventually? I'm assuming you're going to work your way towards resources at both projects. What's your feel for what's realistic, given the progress that you've had, the market conditions and all of that? How long can we expect to wait to see?
That's the question, and I'm not going to give you an answer in stone, because I don't want to underpromise and overdeliver. But basically, I don't want to put something out that I think doesn't really show, the scale, because when you put a resource out, it's a moment in time.
It is, sure.
But the perception on the market is that it's a finish line. Really, it's a start line.
It's true.
So I think I need to see what a critical mass or a path to a critical mass of something between somewhere around 100 million ounces on each project, or at least a clear path there, before I think about putting out a resource. So that's one point. The second point is, you've looked at a lot of the silver companies or any companies that put out resources in the past little while, and it ends up just being a liquidity event, right? So, the stock goes down, and I don't think that would be in the best interest of us as shareholders. Sure. So it's something that I think about a lot, and we're always considering where do we think that we'll get upside, and when we think we'll get upside from that, then we'll put out a resource.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have a minute or so left. What are some of the catalysts that we can look forward to this year? Yeah,
well, so for us, it's just about drilling and continuing to wrap our arms around what's left. In the past year, and we're doing this now too, we've taken both of our projects, we've stepped out very aggressively. We've continued to hit at Hughes, and I think we're continuing to hit at Mogollon. So it's a matter now of, hey, we've got these big footprints. Now let's think about coming back and what's it going to take to really take that big swing, and how do we become the next the next Silvercrest,
Exactly.
or if I think really big, how do we become the next First Majestic?
Absolutely.
And it takes time to do that, but
Right.
we're not afraid to think big, and so that's what we're doing.
Good. Well, you've got amazing projects with superb grades, long intercepts. Again, sounds like both are rarities, and you have two, and congrats on that.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
we certainly look forward to following the progress at Summa.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll see you very soon, and we'll keep you and everyone in the loop going forward.
All right. Thanks again, Gail.